I'm sure you've heard the quote, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. That means me, you, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Drake, LeBron James all have the same 24 hours in a day. The only difference is some of us are millionaires, billionaires, accomplished human beings, and the others are, you know. After studying and spending time with dozens of millionaires and making a couple million myself, these are the things I've learned about how millionaires can accomplish more with the same 24 hours. The first time I really thought about this concept was back in 2016. That's the first time I started piecing things together. Back in 2016, I was selling cars and I was living in a small apartment with 3 other roommates, so that's when I was the hungriest to succeed. I would work my regular job 50 to 60 hours a week, and then I would spend my nights and weekends and all my time off hustling. I would literally try everything from flipping cars to stock trading, trying to find mentors or successful people to learn from. I even got my real estate license. At the time, this is how I thought you would get rich. Work 70 hours, 80 hours a week. And I did this for about 2 to 3 years. And the cool part was I did see some progress. I stacked a couple thousand in the bank. But at the same time, I was just so tired of working. I was starting to burn out. The issue was when I did the math, if I kept up these 70-hour work weeks and I just kept hustling the way I was, it would still take me 2 decades to save $1 million or put $1 million in the bank. And at the time, I'm 21 years old. You might be thinking having $1 million in the bank at 40 doesn't sound too bad, but what I was doing just wasn't sustainable. I saw all of these rich people talk about how they slept 8 hours a day and only worked 20 hours a week. To be honest, it got me a little bit frustrated. Why was I grinding these 70-hour weeks? Meanwhile, you have all these rich people that are working 20 hours a week in Lamborghinis on the beach, spending their time like the way they like to spend their time. I was working all these hours just to save a couple grand. Meanwhile, people are working from the beach and making millions. I made it my mission to figure out how they did it. It wasn't until 2017 when the light bulb went off and I finally had that single breakthrough that changed my life. And that's the point of this video. I got a job working for a millionaire in his customer service department. And every time he spoke, I hung on to every word. I listened to everything.
New Lamborghini.
One of the words he always used was
Lamborghini.
One of the words he always used was leverage. I'm going to leverage my money. I'm going to leverage my following. And the most important one, I am going to leverage my time. Keep in mind, I'm young, so I don't really know what this means. But we live in the age of the internet. So with a simple Google search, I see that leverage means using something small to achieve a greater result. A good example of this is how human beings use tools to get leverage. A bicycle allows you to pedal and move faster and farther than walking or running does. You can pedal once and get a lot further with the same amount of energy. They leverage their money, they leverage their resources, they leverage their employees, and most importantly, they leverage their time. So that's when I really started thinking, how can I start using leverage? I don't really have any money. I don't have a college education. I don't have a social media following. And that's when it finally clicked. And I'm going to bring it full circle here. The shit we would hear all the time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. I had just as much time as every single person on the planet, millionaires, billionaires. And if you're watching this, I hope this is the aha moment for you too. I started thinking of ways I could leverage my time. How can I put in 1 hour of work and get 4 hours of results? And that's when I snapped into action. I made a list of things to do and I set clear goals and priorities. That's the thing about millionaires. And one thing I've realized is they know what they want to achieve and they do it by focusing on their top priorities first. They don't focus on low return tasks like cooking or cleaning. And as common sense as it is, we all know what those low return tasks are. A good example is cooking. Cooking might take you 2 hours where you could be hustling and potentially making more than what you would spend on food. And some of these low return tasks are actually pretty self-explanatory as well. Going out and drinking with your friends doesn't get you any closer to achieving your goals. The next thing I needed to implement in my life that I saw a bunch of millionaires doing was building systems. Most people spend their time trying to do something with an immediate payoff instead of a long-term payoff. If you analyze jobs, all you are leveraging are your skills and your time. That's why cashiers at fast food restaurants make minimum wage, is because all they have to leverage is their time. They don't really have any skills. Anyone can do their job. And because anyone can do their job, they have no leverage. Once you learn a skill like social media marketing or e-commerce, stock trading or real estate, you're able to make more money because you can now leverage not only your time, but also your skills. So I learned digital marketing, Facebook ads, Google ads. This allowed me to leverage my skills and my time. Instead of trading 1 hour for $20 like I did at a job, I was able to trade 1 hour for $200 because of my skills. And from there, all you have to do is leverage again. You have to stack your leverage. Once I was able to start making money by leveraging my skills, I started outsourcing tasks that didn't make me any money. If I could make $200 an hour from using my skills in digital marketing, why would I want to do anything else that doesn't make me money, like cooking or cleaning? Eventually, I had built so much leverage in my life that, get this, in 2016, I was working 70 hours a week to make $7,000 a month. In 2019, 3 years later, I was working 40 hours a week and making $30,000 a month. We all have the same 24 hours a day. It's the one thing we can't get back. It's our most valuable resource, our time. So you have to start asking yourself, if you want to get rich, ask yourself, how can you get as much of your time back as possible? How do you have as much of your time to yourself as possible? What skills can you learn and leverage? What everyday tasks can you outsource or pay someone else to do? What resources can you leverage? And how can you stack that leverage?